What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another NU match. This one is against Cameron, and this is a pretty interesting battle, honestly. He has some pretty scary defensive mons that my team can't deal with very well. He has a fucking Wobbuffet on there, so I gotta be, afraid of that thing. But anyways, he leads off with Sock, as I lead off with Lobster, as I do not want to take a close combat to the freaking crab face, so I decided to switch straight out into Quagsire, as he does end up going for the close combat, and as expected, Quagsire is going to take that pretty nicely. It does less than half to me, so that's good news. Anyways, the Sock is going to lose some defense, so he definitely does not want to stay in here against Quagsire. Getting a Scald Burn would be terrible for this thing. He definitely wants to save that for later on for sure. So he is going to switch Bert out, as he is going to go into the Jewel, which is the freaking Audino. And I hate these things with a passion because they're just so annoying, just such pains in the ass. I don't know. I go for the Scald, do not get the burn, that's kind of a common theme throughout this battle. Scald just does not want to burn things for me. Maybe Quagmire just doesn't know how to heat that water up enough. I don't know. But the Audino's gonna go for a Calm Mind here, as that's kind of scary, although I know I can take a couple Dazzling Gleams or whatever this thing wants to throw at me, even if it has a couple special attack raises. So I go for the Toxic here. I know that these generally want to carry Heal Bell, but that's completely fine. I'm just going to have Quagsire be a nuisance. He's going to have to waste a turn for the Heal Bell, plus it's going to get a little bit of chip damage until he does that, so that's some good news. Jewel is over here nice and shiny, and I'm expecting this to be a Mega Audino. He hasn't actually Mega'd yet, but he's going to go for the Heal Bell on this turn, actually. Goes straight for it, as I'm going to have Quagmire just go for an Earthquake. I figure, fuck it, I'm going to hit it with some physical attacks if he wants to start getting some special defense. But turns out Earthquake doesn't do shit, so I guess I can't really expect Quagsire to hurt too bad. I mean, he's not really invested in attack at all, but here he goes for the Dazzling Gleam, and Quagsire actually takes that way better than I thought he would, and it didn't do a damn thing, and I'm like, hell yeah. It's probably because it isn't Mega yet, but, whatever. So I go for the Toxic again. I'm like, you know what, fuck, you're gonna have to keep ringing that bell unless you want to be freaking poisoned. So, yeah, that's Quagsire just doing his thing, just spreading the diseases around, just Quagsiring. Anyways, here he decides to Mega Evolve, and that's terrible. I'm like, oh, you get some gold-ass eyes, just weird looking as fuck Mega Audino. I don't know, these things just, I hate these guys, man. I never really carry counters on my team. I guess Muck kind of works as one. But anyways, I take that next Dazzling Gleam. I actually live at 20 HP, and I'm able to hit it with one more Earthquake, which doesn't do anything. But fuck it, I have faith that Quagsire can win this matchup. So he's going to take some poison damage. At this point, he is probably going to have to Heal Bell if he wants to stay around. So he does go for the Heal Bell there. And on this turn, I actually went for the Recover, kind of expecting the Heal Bell. I know I can take a couple more Dazzling Gleams, plus Quagsire is going to be useful later on in the match. So getting that Recover was pretty crucial there against Quagsire, with the leftovers back up to almost full. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Quagsire eating over here. So that thing is probably going to want to get some health back, so he goes for the Wish here. That pretty much shows me the rest of his moveset there, so I'm like, okay, I know what this thing does. I know your fucking gypsy tricks, Mega Audino. So I go for the Scald, do not get a burn. I'm like, come on, Quagsire, fucking burn some shit. That's why I'm trying to Scald, but it doesn't happen. So I get some more leftovers, and I'm like, alright, let's just save Quagsire with this nice and full health for later. So here I decide to switch into Muck, and if I could get some curses up with Muck here, it would probably be pretty nice. So he goes for the Calm Mind. He's at +2 special attack, +2 special defense at this point, and I know that his only attacking move is probably Dazzling Gleam, so he's not going to be able to really do much to me, but the Wish comes true. He gets back to full health. He's going to actually set up another Wish here, and this was kind of an interesting play, as I'm going to go for the Poison Jab. I do get a lot of damage off on this thing. I was kind of hoping for the Poison Touch. Doesn't happen, and I'm like, fuck you, Audino. I'm just not getting any hacks today. But he's now going to switch out. He wants Bert to be able to get that Wish, so I go for the Curse here, which is actually perfect, because I was expecting him to switch. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to get a nice little boost here. So I get some attack and defense, and the Wish isn't going to do anything. So he's going to go for the Earthquake. I realize that I'm at +1 defense, so I know I can take one. And I can also dish out a pretty powerful Poison Jab. So I'm able to do that, and unluckily I do not get the Poison Touch. So freaking no poison for that thing. And unfortunately I can't take another Earthquake, so I have to switch out, save Muck for later, maybe for that Audino. And I realize, hey, I have a full health Quagsire almost. I'm just going to switch back into this fucking thing. So he goes for the Earthquake. Quagsire does not give a shit about the ground shaking, and doesn't do anything, as I'm just going to get some leftovers. I can pretty much, scare this thing out. I know he's probably going to want to switch, so it's whether I want to go for the Scald or the Earthquake pretty much. I decide to go for the Scald here, as he's going to switch into Marty. And I go for the Scald. I'm like, hey, let's burn something, Quagsire. But, of course not. Do not get ever burns. I get a critical hit, so I guess that's actually kind of better. But, yeah, so Him switching into Zeb Striker essentially tells me that he's going to have Hidden Power Grass, which is what I expect Zeb Strikers to usually run. So I'm going to actually switch into my own Marty, and my Marty's like, hey, what's up? And that Marty's like, what's up, Marty? And it's just Martyception out here. As he is going to go for the Hidden Power, it is going to be Hidden Power Grass. And yeah, so at this point I can basically scare this thing out with an Overheat. I know oh shit, dropped my pens. I know I can basically hit that thing with an Overheat. It is going to kill, but here he makes a questionable play. He decides to go into the Sock. I actually missed the Overheat, which was kind of funny, but I know I can outspeed, and I am able to Volt Switch and be able to kill that thing. So Sock was a pretty big threat to my team. Nice that that thing got out of there, so that's pretty cool. Marty is going to go back into the team for later to come in, be fast as fuck, and hit shit with electric attacks. So on the empty battlefield, I decided to go into Rock Lobster just because his team does not have a whole lot that can really do too much to me. So he's going to actually end up going back into the freaking Audino. As I go for a Rock Blast, it is going to miss, and I'm like, fuck me, Rock Lobster, get some damn glasses. I know you can hit that shit. That fat Audino can't be too hard to miss, but Rock Lobster found a way. Anyways, he's going to go for the Wish, as I don't even want to hit this thing for damage because I know he's just going to get his health back. So I set up a layer of Stealth Rocks, which is cool. That definitely, you know, kind of helps out. So he's going to set up a Calm Mind. I'm like, fuck, man, if this thing starts setting up too many Calm Minds, I really do not have a lot that I can do. I still have Mark in the back of my team, but depending on how many Calm Minds you get, it might be a problem. But I go for the Rock Blast here. I am actually able to connect, and it does not do a whole lot of damage. Obviously, this is a defensive Audino, but I get 4 hits. You know, it does a decent amount, and I'm like, you know, he's not going to be able to kill me in 1 hit, so I might as well stay in here, try to get as much damage off on this Mega Audino as possible to make it easier for a revenge kill. So he's actually going to set up another Calm Mind, as I'm like, you know what, fuck it, keep throwing rocks at this thing. Rock Lobster, so I throw some more rocks at it, and I actually get a critical hit there. I believe this one hits 3 times, and I'm like, okay, this thing's kind of in killable range if I could get like 2 more of these Rock Blasts. So here he's going to go for a Dazzling Gleam with them Calm Minds. He's still not able to do much to Rock Lobster, as knocks me down to 45 HP. Overall, not too bad, as I do get 1 more turn to set up another Rock Blast. So I'm going for it. I hope I get 5 hits. I'm like, come on, just keep hitting this fucking thing. Just keep hitting it. There's a chance. There's a chance, the dream, and yeah, it only hits 4 times, but I don't think the 5th one would have killed anyways, as now he's actually just going to set up another Wish. Here he realizes that I'm definitely faster, and hitting him with another Rock Blast would kill it, so he is actually going to switch out here, but that's actually not too bad because I do have Stealth Rocks up, and that thing is not going to be really staying around for too long at all. So here he makes, I wasn't really expecting him to switch into Marty here. He actually decides to sack Marty, maybe hoping for a Rock Blast miss or something along the lines of that. But Rock Blast is going to connect, and down goes the Zeb Striker. Maybe he felt like it wasn't very useful considering I still have my Zeb Striker on my team, so I can have a switch in on his electric attacks. I don't know how to talk. But yeah, anyways, Lasagna freaking Crab over here is doing pretty nice. I should have named this thing Lasagna because it totally just looks like a big square of lasagna. Anyways, he's going to switch into his Tauros as he is going to be able to kill Rock Lobster. I kind of wanted to just stay in just to see what he was going to go for. Potentially lock himself in because I do see a lot of choice Tauroses around. But the Iron Head is going to be able to kill, as I'm just going to switch into Quagmire here because I know I can take an attack from this thing. So he goes for the Rock Climb. That is going to do a lot of damage as I go for a Scald. I'm like crossing my fingers. I'm like, fucking get a burn, Quagsire, as I don't get a burn. I'm like, you worthless piece of blue shit, Quagsire. We got to get your ass some type of water heater inside you so you can start getting some burns. But yeah, it doesn't happen. The burn there would have been really nice, but 1 more Rock Climb is going to be able to take out Quagsire. And yeah, so now I'm able to switch into Zeb Striker, as I know I'm going to be able to outspeed this Tauros, and he definitely wants to save that Tauros for later, and he decides to switch into Jewel, basically just to get a free switch in later. So Jewel comes in, freaking finally dies. He takes some Stealth Rock damage, doesn't kill it, but Marty is able to finish it off with a Thunderbolt, so finally got rid of that Mega Audino. Keep in mind, though, he does still have the Wobbuffet on his team, along with a Prinplup, so that's kind of scary, and if I can, I really gotta try to formulate a damn plan for this fucking Wobbuffet. But yeah, so he switches in Carmen now. The blue-ass Smurf fucking thing comes out, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna go for a Volt Switch here, which actually turned out to be the bad play, because I do get a decent amount of damage off on that thing, and that essentially means that if he went for the Mirror Coat, I'm gonna take that damage on whenever I switch in. I decided to go into Sup, hoping he maybe went for like Encore or something, but he does go for the Mirror Coat. And that is going to kill Muck. That's unfortunate because Muck would have been able to start setting up some curses on that thing, and it wouldn't have really been able to do a whole lot. But yeah, so the Wobbuffet kind of got me there. You fucking deserve that one, Wobbuffet. You deserve that one. But I'm going to switch into Lapras here, as this is actually my Dragon Dance Lapras. So I'm like, you know what? If this thing wants to just stay in here, I'm just going to keep on Dragon Dancing all damn day, get enough attack to be able to finish this thing off. But he actually predicts that very nicely and goes for the Encore. So I'm locked into Dragon Dance here, which it does kind of suck, but I guess I do kind of have to expect that with a Wobbuffet around. But I do not want to die against his damn Tauros, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out. I decided to switch into Marty, as I know he's probably going to want to switch himself. Plus, Marty's going to be able to outspeed everything else on his team, and I'll be able to attack whatever. So he decides to switch back into the Tauros, and that's actually fine because he's going to take Stealth Rock's damage, which puts him below half. And at this point, I definitely know that a Thunderbolt is going to be able to kill, so down goes the Tauros, and all he has left is the Wobbuffet and I believe the Prinplup. So that's not too bad. I do kind of want to save Marty for that Prinplup, so he's actually going to switch back into Karma here as I'm like, fucking damn it, I hate this thing. Luckily, though, it takes some Stealth Rock damage and stuff. I do not want to go for the Volt Switch just because I don't want to, get some Mirror Coat damage on both. So I just decided to hard switch into it as he does go for the Mirror Coat. So at this point, I know that I'm kind of free to start setting up Dragon Dances because even if he does Encore me, there's really not a whole lot that he can do considering his last Pokemon is the Prinplup. So here I just decide to go for the Dragon Dance, and he switches into Ironclad. And freaking Eviolite Prinplup is nothing to fuck around with. This thing just has pretty decent defenses. It's kind of a combination of Lapras just not having very much attack at all. But I go for a Dragon Dance. I'm like, alright, get some attack and speed. Fuck it, go for another one. I'm just like, Lapras always dreamed of being a dragon. So, just letting him fulfill the dreams for a little while here. As he's going to go for a Toxic. So he knows he can't hit me with any water attacks. I'll just absorb that shit. As I am now poisoned, which is going to limit the amount of time that I'm able to stay in here and, do some damage. So that's kind of a bummer, but I just decide, fuck it, I'm just going to go for another Dragon Dance, as I know that I only have, really, my only attacking move is actually Bulldoze on this thing, that I can hit Prinplup for at least neutral damage. So he goes for a Defog, he's going to get rid of those Stealth Rocks, so next time the Wobbuffet switches in, he's not going to take freaking damage, and it's just, oh man, that's kind of annoying. But I'm at this point, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I have enough attack. I'm like, throw a Bulldoze at this thing, and it does less than half. I'm like, well, Lapras, we gotta work on that, buddy. Dragon Dance Lapras, plus Bulldoze isn't the optimal move to have on this thing. It's kind of an old Lapras. I gotta switch out some moves on this fucking thing. But here he's just gonna set up a layer of Stealth Rocks, and I'm like, shit, man, I actually might lose this matchup if I don't have something for that damn Wobbuffet. So I'm like, screw it, Dragon Dance again. I know this thing still can't hurt me, so I believe this turn he actually just goes for a Toxic again, hoping I switch out or something, but I don't. And at this point, Toxic is definitely starting to rack up, so I only have a couple more attacks left. But yeah, so I go for one more Bulldoze. I'm like, please, just kill or something. And it doesn't end up killing. I'm like, what the fuck, Lapras? We couldn't even kill a Prinplup. I should just stop using this thing and bring back the Assault Vest 1. But he goes for another Toxic again because he really does not have a move to hit me with, as I die to my poison damage. So I'm like, damn it, Boat, we failed. Got so many Dragon Dances up and we still failed. But I do still have in the back of my team a Choice Specs Magmortar, which is really nice because I'm going to be able to do some damage. So I go for the Thunderbolt here, and I actually forgot this thing was Specs at this point. I thought it was Expert Belt, so when he brings back in the Wobbuffet, I'm like, well, fuck, now I'm locked into Thunderbolt, so that's not going to be able to do enough to kill. So I gotta, play pretty wisely here. Any move I hit him with, he's going to be able to kill me with Mirror Coat. So here I decide to switch straight off into Marty. I'm going to take some Stealth Rocks damage, which kind of sucks, but I have a couple more Life Orb hits in me. He goes for the Mirror Coat because that's the only thing he can do, but at this point, I'm just going to go for a Thunderbolt, hopefully to be able to do enough damage to knock it down to range where Specs him out Mortar and we'll be able to kill it with Flamethrower. So I go for the Thunderbolt, does not do a whole lot of damage as my Life Orb leaves me at 1 HP, but he's able to finish me off with a Mirror Coat, and it's like, fuck you, Wobbuffet. But luckily, I believe I knocked that thing down to enough health to the point where I can bring in Magmortar, and at this point I was actually really stoked that I was Specs, because had I not been Choice Specs, I don't think it would have been enough to kill this thing. So, Cannons comes out, I go for the Flamethrower, and luckily for me, Choice Specs Flamethrower from a Magmortar is definitely going to be able to take out this Wobbuffet. I believe it was actually physically defensive, so that actually, worked out in my favor. But anyways, that is going to be the end of the match. Thank you guys for watching. That was a pretty, fairly, weird match, but it was pretty interesting, I thought. So I figured I'd throw the old upload out here. So if you guys enjoyed, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you later. Peace.